Hello. Dear students, how are you all? Hope you are doing well. We are studying Unit 8 Respiration. It's all about energy. And today we are going to compose answers of long questions, and we will solve exercise question 1 and 2 as well. Dear students, in this lecture we will do and learn following things in detail. First of all, we will have an overview of previous lecture, then we will compose the answers of long questions. Q1, describe the structure of lungs with the help of a labeled diagram. Q2, describe the mechanism of breathing. Q3, how energy is produced without oxygen in plants and animals. We also solve exercise questions. Question 1 and question 2. So let us start with recap of previous lecture. In the yesterday's lesson we have discussed following topics: breathing, structure of the lungs, breathing out and breathing in, lung capacity, breathing rate, and we have composed answers of following long questions. Q1, describe the structure of lungs with the help of a labeled diagram. Q2, describe the mechanism of breathing. Listen attentively. Now we are going to start today's lecture. First we have to compose answer of long question number 1, which is 1. Quetzal, describe the structure of lungs with the help of a labeled diagram. Answer of the question is as follows. First we will discuss the structure of lungs. The lungs are two elastic pouches lying inside the ribs. They are connected to the air outside the body by windpipe, or trachea.
Some of it is used in respiration to produce energy. Respiration takes place inside every plant cell all the time, even at night.
On your screen you can see different parts of respiratory system representing structure of lungs also. Trachea opens into the back of the mouth and nose. The trachea divides into two smaller tubes called bronchi. One of these goes into each lung before dividing further into smaller tubes called bronchioles. After yet more branching, the tubes end in tiny, thin-walled air sacs called alveoli. Lining all of the air passages are two types of cells. One type is covered with tiny hairs called cilia. The other produces sticky liquid called mucus. Small dust particles and bacteria stick to the mucus. The cilia beat to carry the mucus up to the back of the mouth where it is swallowed. The second long question is 2. Quetzales, describe the mechanism of breathing. Answer of this question is described in detail below. Breathing takes place in the lungs and is simply a way of getting oxygen into the body and carbon dioxide out of it. Blood carries oxygen from the lungs to the cells and carbon dioxide from the cells back to the lungs. Now we are going to write first phase of breathing, which is breathing in. The muscles between the ribs contract, lifting the rib cage up and out, expanding the chest. At the same time the muscles contract to flatten the diaphragm, which is a dome-shaped muscle. This makes the space inside the rib cage bigger and reduces the air pressure in the lungs. We can now more about breathing in through this diagram, in which you can see different events of changes in respiratory structures. Air moves into the lungs from outside through the nose and mouth because there the air pressure is higher. Now it is second phase of mechanism of respiration, which is breathing out. The rib and diaphragm muscles relax. This lowers the chest and raises the diaphragm. The space in the rib cage gets smaller, so the air pressure increases. This forces air out of the lungs and out through the nose and mouth. Now it is second phase of mechanism of respiration, which is breathing out. The rib and diaphragm muscles relax. This lowers the chest and raises the diaphragm. The space in the rib cage gets smaller, so the air pressure increases. This forces air out of the lungs and out through the nose and mouth. Dear students, we have completed long question number 2. Now we are going to solve long question number 3, which is Q3. How energy is produced without oxygen in plants and animals? Answer of this question is: firstly, we will discuss energy without oxygen in animals. Sometimes an animal's breathing rate cannot get oxygen to the cells quickly enough. The animal does not die, because respiration can also take place anaerobically, without oxygen. Instead of being broken down completely into carbon dioxide and water, glucose breaks down into lactic acid. Lactic acid is a sort of halfway stage between glucose and carbon dioxide and water. Glucose is converted into lactic acid. As a result, carbon dioxide and water is produced. Energy in small amount is also generated. Anaerobic respiration is not the best way to get energy from glucose because the glucose is not completely broken down and much less energy is produced. Lactic acid also causes muscle fatigue. However, anaerobic respiration is very useful when energy is needed in a hurry. Anaerobic respiration in animals can be summarized like this. Glucose is converted into lactic acid. As a result, energy in small amount is generated. Now we are going to discuss energy without oxygen in plants. Plant cells, like animal cells, can respire anaerobically if they need to. However, plants do not produce lactic acid. They make ethanol and carbon dioxide instead. Anaerobic respiration in plants can be summarized like this. Glucose is converted into ethanol. As a result, carbon dioxide is produced. Energy in small amount is also generated. Now we are going to solve question number 1 of exercise, which is multiple choice questions. We have to sort out one most appropriate option for each statement. Let us start with first statement. I. Respiration takes place only in. Option 1 is blood cells. Option 2 is cells in the arms and legs. Option 3 is heart cells. And at last, option number 4 is all cells. Last option, I mean option D, is correct. Second statement is now in front of you, that is 2. Which 2 things are needed for aerobic respiration? Option 1 is carbon dioxide and glucose. Option 2 is glucose and water. Option 3 is oxygen and glucose. And lastly, option 4 is water and oxygen. Third option, I mean option C, is correct. Instead of being broken down completely into carbon dioxide and water, glucose breaks down into lactic acid. Lactic acid is a sort of halfway stage between glucose and carbon dioxide and water. Glucose is converted into lactic acid. As a result, carbon dioxide and water is produced. Energy in small amount is also generated. Fourth statement is 4. In which part of a cell does respiration take place? We have cell membrane in option 1. Option 2 is chromosome. Third option is mitochondria. Last and fourth option we have is nucleus. And option 3C is correct for this statement. Now fifth and last statement of the question number 1 is V. Anaerobic respiration can only take place. First combination is in animals. Second option has combination in plants. Option number 3 has in plants and animals. And option 4 is in neither plants or animals. Option 3C is correct for it. Now we are going to solve question number 1 of exercise, which is multiple choice questions. We have to sort out one most appropriate option for each statement. Let us start with first statement. I. Respiration takes place only in. Option 1 is blood cells. The second statement is the amount of carbon dioxide breathed out is about the same as the breathed in, which is false. The third statement is 3. Mitochondria are found in all living cells where respiration is taking place. This is true. Fourth statement is lactic acid is a sort of halfway stage between oxygen and carbon dioxide. It is false. Fifth statement is yeast can respire aerobically, with oxygen, and anaerobically, without oxygen. Statement number 5 is true as well. This was all about today's lecture. Hope you have learned about these things discussed here. At the end you are assigned to complete the given worksheet and copy all the question answers on your fair notebook. See you in the next class. Thank you for your attention and listening. Goodbye.